Hello everyone, welcome to view our presentation, Proposed OD Interventions, Disneyland Case Studies by Lori Cahill, Michelle Piccolo, and Alex Zanoni. Disneyland customer surveys indicate high satisfaction when visiting the parks. The company is profitable, and from the outside, it seems that there are not any challenging issues. However, data shows that the culture at Disneyland constitutes a problem for its employees, and we suggest that in the long run, this could impact profits and customers' approval. One of the main issues that we highlight in the following presentation is the need of creating a welcoming place that not only customers can enjoy, but also where employees of any rank can thrive and feel engaged. In fact, we plan to collect anonymously data regarding employees' engagement, satisfaction, psychological well-being, and work-life balance. Our first impression is that even though Disneyland has the reputation of a successful and profitable amusement park, employees' morale is decreasing, and if left unaddressed, it will influence significantly customers' experience, Disneyland's reputation, and ultimately profits. Disneyland's culture needs to be modernized and updated in order to reflect the diversity in society. By doing so, Disneyland can successfully attract customers of different backgrounds, expanding its targets and establish ethical work practices. Who we are. Lori Cahill is currently in her second year of Industrial and Organizational Psychology Master's Studies at the CUNY School of Professional Studies. Her areas of interest include performance management, employee motivation, recruitment, and selection. Lori lived in Romania until 2006, where she earned a degree in physical therapy and spent several years working with severely disabled children. Lori currently lives with her husband and children on Long Island, New York, and is a fan of Disney movies, merchandise, and theme parks. Michelle Piccolo graduated from Dominican College of Blauvelt with a bachelor's degree in social sciences with a concentration in psychology. She's currently in her second year of graduate school at the CUNY School of Professional Studies, where she's pursuing a master's degree in industrial organizational psychology. She has 14 years of experience in human resources and is particularly skilled in recruitment, mediating staff conflicts, employee training and development, as well as compliance. Alex Zanoni graduated in linguistics at the University of Milan, Italy, in 2006 and has more than a decade of experience in human capital management. His extensive international experience in China, working as leader of HR for a multinational enterprise, has enriched his understanding of diversity and change management. He has successfully designed and implemented organization development interventions focusing on positivity, social and psychological capital. His area of expertise includes conflict resolutions, evaluation of large-scale OD interventions, and employee continuous development.
What is organization development? Organization development is the process of enhancing organizational effectiveness and fostering personal and organizational change by utilizing interventions grounded in the knowledge of social and behavioral science. OD acknowledges that change is required at all levels, the individual level, the team level, and the organization level. Interventions are developed in a manner such that change can be developed and integrated into the organization's functioning. What differentiates OD from other forms of consulting, such as management consulting, is that OD offers process and human systems advice rather than specific content advice. OD consultants view the client as the expert and prefer an equal relationship such that the client shares the responsibility of gathering data, diagnosis, selecting interventions, and implementing change. In essence, the OD consultant and the client form a partnership and work together to diagnose problems, find solutions, and implement changes. Another thing that sets OD apart from other forms of consulting is that many are not rooted in OD's set of foundational humanistic values. These values include participation, involvement, and empowerment, the importance of groups and teams, growth, development, and learning, valuing the whole person, dialogue and collaboration, and authenticity, openness, and trust. Our approach to organization development is a diagnostic approach which has 6 stages: entry, contracting, data gathering, diagnosis and feedback, intervention, and evaluation and exit. This method was developed based on key practices adopted from action research and will facilitate our ability to work with you to diagnose the problem, identify solutions, and implement changes. Further, we adopt an open systems theory to understand the organization, which is the process of analyzing how people, processes, and structures and policies exist in an interconnected network of relationship. This perspective allows us to observe the interrelationships of structures and components rather than simple cause and effect chains. This is beneficial because correcting organizational problems requires systems thinking so the root problem can be solved rather than fixing simple, immediate, and superficial problems. We also firmly believe in an evidence-based practice because quality decisions should be based on critical thinking and the best available evidence from multiple sources. To do this, we will follow 6 steps. Asking, in which we will translate the issue into an answerable question. Acquiring, in which we will systematically search for evidence. Appraising, in which we will judge the trustworthiness and relevance of the evidence. Aggregating, in which we will weigh and pull together information. Applying, in which we will integrate the evidence into the decision-making process. And assessing, in which we will evaluate the outcome of the decision taken. Disneyland is a profitable and successful organization. Since OD emphasizes a partnership and closely examines the inner workings of an organization, we can collectively identify problems that could hinder future success and formulate potential solutions. This will ensure that Disneyland continues to thrive and be successful.
Hi everyone, this is Lori Cahill and let's continue with the root cause. I suggest that the main problem is leadership lack of awareness. From this case study, it appears though Disneyland has always been focused on its customers. It successfully responded to the changing market condition for decades when it concerns customer service. This has been accomplished by updating facilities, adding new attractions, and maintaining signature Disneyland services. However, it has focused so much on the customer that it has largely ignored the teamwork, or even appears to be unaware of the many problems that exist in the workforce.
In the following presentation, we will introduce to you the benefits of creating a diverse and inclusive working environment, cross-training employees in various departments, promoting continuous development and clear career paths, as well as renovating the standard operation processes for ensuring a better work-life balance, promotions, performance evaluations, and training protocols. Finally, we will briefly look at the benefits of increasing automation and eliminate redundancy, promoting psychological well-being among employees, and create equal opportunities for all. Once we have all the necessary data collected through the surveys and focus group interviews, we will evaluate the gravity of the problems. The OD interventions that we plan to implement are coaching sessions, unconscious implicit bias and sensitivity training, team building exercises, 360-degree feedback. How do our OD interventions work? Coaching interventions will focus on increasing the understanding of Disneyland values and missions. Our coaching sessions will include leadership coaching aimed to supervisors and leaders, and career coaching for employees who would like to explore career or job options and change jobs. We will use coaching techniques in order to help managers and supervisors develop their leading skills and for creating an engaging working environment. Implicit and unconscious bias training will address the decision of the hiring managers to choose candidates who display the well-known features of Disneyland characters, such as preference for white individuals and selection based on looks. Society has become even more diverse, and an organization like Disneyland that has been expanding worldwide needs to take into consideration the variety of cultures and ethnicities without discriminating their employees. During the implicit and unconscious bias training, we will evaluate the severity of the bias and how it affects the hiring decision-making process and obstacles career development within the organization. Finally, to promote tolerance for individual differences, empathy among employees, and encourage behavior change, we will design sensitivity training sessions. Because most jobs at Disneyland consist of shift schedules with employees alternating to cover the same role, for example, ride operators, we will define teams based on job categories. Before implementing team building activities, we will use a team diagnostic survey to determine the focus area for the intervention. We will assess whether members are clear about their group goals, for example, how to avoid accidents, comply with safety regulations, provide assistance to customers, etc. Their roles and whether the group uses effective conflict management strategies. Creating a more complete way for appraising employees is crucial for standardizing the performance review process. Therefore, we suggest to implement a 360-degree feedback that includes customers, managers, and subordinates review of the single individuals. The main benefits of a 360-degree feedback is that it helps the person understand his own job performance from an outsider's perspective. It can increase communication between team members and support teamwork by involving team members in the development process. Moreover, it improves customer service by having customers contribute to evaluation.
We are suggesting a whole organization intervention to remark Disneyland organization design and culture. According to Anderson 2017, this is one of the intervention chooses to increase productivity, speed up the cycle time of product development, clarify direction, improve morale, and increase participation. Specifically, this will be an organization design and structure intervention. Most of these are problems identified throughout the diagnosis and analysis. We must now just address structure but design, as this will target departmental barriers and inhibit process effectiveness and employee frustration, as mentioned in Anderson 2017. Organizational design change serves to develop consistency between an organization's strategy, goals, and structure.
Our OD consulting process will include 5 different phases. The first phase is the entry and contracting phase. The second one is the data gathering process, followed by the third stage, diagnosis and feedback. The fourth phase, intervention implementation, and the last final phase, sustaining and evaluating change stages. In the next following 5 slides, we will explain in details each phase. During the entering phase, our team will explore the organization's problems and issues, and we will get to know better how the strategies that the company has previously implemented have failed. Throughout this phase, we will get a better understanding of the stakeholders and how we can leverage their roles in order to initiate change and implement our proposed interventions. The entering phase will be followed by the contracting stage. We will describe our goals and scope of this consulting project, the mutual expectations, and we will also outline our services, client, and consultants' responsibilities. We will propose a timeline for gathering and analyzing data. We will propose our interventions, implement, and finally evaluate them. Also, we will decide upon our points of contact, and we will outline the cost for our services, as well as any other resources that we might need our client to provide.
In the spirit of our belief in an evidence-based practice, we will gather data from multiple sources to fully understand the problems at Disneyland. The methods will include interviews, focus groups, surveys, observations, and unobtrusive measures. Formal interviews will be conducted with park managers, and the questions will be constructed to help determine what they perceive to be their greatest challenges in terms of managing staff and meeting organizational goals. Because interviews can be time-consuming and expensive, we will randomly select 3 park managers to cut down on costs. To better understand the employee's perspective, we will conduct a focus group of 10 randomly selected park employees to assess their level of job satisfaction by asking questions about employee engagement, work-life balance, managerial support, perceptions of equity, and opportunities for advancement. Since focus groups have the potential for groupthink in which people agree on one perspective or may prevent some members from discussing confidential topics, we will also administer surveys to all park employees to ensure we have a complete picture of the employee's perspective. To help reaffirm the findings from interviews, focus groups, and surveys, we will also spend one day in the park to observe daily activities. Lastly, we will analyze Disney's historical data from the past year to examine rates of absenteeism, turnover, and incident reports in the park. Once we have gathered the information, we will analyze the data and sort it into key themes, draw conclusions that are supported by the data, and present the most pertinent findings. We will then work with Disneyland to help understand the behavior and current situation so we can formulate solutions together. To help find the best solutions, Disneyland will be provided a written report of our findings, and the findings will be presented over the course of 2 meetings to determine action. To maintain confidentiality and to minimize disruptions, the meeting will take place in the conference room at Disneyland headquarters, with all appropriate parties in attendance. The first meeting will take place on the last 2 hours of the workday, in which we will present our findings, suggest potential recommendations, and provide a written copy of our findings. The second meeting will be the first 2 hours of the next workday, where we can answer any questions or concerns, listen for and discuss other potential solutions, and determine the direction Disneyland wants to go in terms of a solution. By splitting this process into 2 meetings, you will have the opportunity to digest the findings presented and develop a sense of direction for a solution that is palatable for Disneyland.
The implementation steps are: create urgency. There needs to be preliminary meetings of the key players to discuss threats to the business and opportunities. This would be a good idea to get input from all the sample of the stakeholders. We suggest a month or 2 for this stage. From a powerful coalition, there will be participants from senior management and all the job types in Disneyland. We will need strong personalities willing to share their opinions and open to change. The team should be assembled and all members vetted within a month. To create a vision for change, Disneyland will need to re-examine its organizational values. The change must improve employees' morale, modernize processes, change management styles, instill a commitment to employee well-being, and redesign jobs where appropriate. We should allow for this 3 months for the generation of ideas and detailed analysis of them. In communicating the vision, there will be need of meetings, online messaging, and emails that constantly prepare all levels for the company for change. We will allow 3 months for this step. In order to remove obstacles, we expect some people will not embrace these changes, so that beyond people, there are staffing and procedural matters that must be fixed to realize success. We require 3 months to analyze all barriers and draft plans to overcome them. In creating a short-term wins, the success can be measured using metrics, measuring how hourly cost of wages and efficiency of attraction and restaurant operation. The goal should be significant yet easily reachable. We should do this for about 6 months. To build a change, we should roll out incrementally to different attractions and different areas of the park. Each time, we should document the unique challenges and attempt to avoid mistakes the following time. Implementation should accelerate, and we should expect this to be concluded within the 6 months. Anchor the changes in corporate culture. We should consider changing Disney new hire training and orientation. The changes that have been made here should be enriched in every facet of the organization. Leadership needs to maintain focus, and this is ongoing. This stage is ongoing. At Disneyland, we would hope that every shift would have meetings every day aligned with the changes. In addition, there should be committees formed of all types of jobs and assortment of leaders. And intergroup meetings will help quite a bit. We suggest annual large rallies where Disneyland will have presentations, presents awards, and clarify direction going forward. We suggest modifying performance review to place highest value on our changes. Success in working across teams, working across jobs, and commitment to efficiency should be prioritized. In addition, rewards in the form of advancement opportunities, department opportunities, raises, and bonuses should be tied to commitment to this change. We should look at the park-wide metrics of efficiency, customer satisfaction, employee satisfaction, and cost. This should be compared to the benchmarks prior to the change. We need to gather data from a variety of sources. We will need both qualitative and quantitative data. We will evaluate the data with senior leaders at Disney and generate a final written report.